the things I would say is to make sure that you know how to run the business. And the easiest way to know how to run the business is to kind of set up a website yourself. So, an easy tip here would be if you're buying a WordPress based site, go ahead and set up a WordPress site. It doesn't have to be, it could be a personal blog, it could be just an example blog or something like that, just so you have a little bit of familiarity with the technology. If you're buying a Shopify store, same kind of thing. Set up a free Shopify store and to see how it works, how the menus and stuff like that are happening. If you're buying an FBA business, set up a Seller Central account. Do you have an Amazon Seller Central account? Do you know how to order inventory and stuff like that? There are a lot of courses you can take out there and how to build your own site. And while I do think there's a lot of value in buying your business because you get a huge head start, I think building your own site to begin with a little bit gives you some familiarity with how the technology works and how the lingo works, how different aspects of the marketing work and whatnot. So that's what I would encourage a lot of brand new people to do. And we do that a lot at Empire Flippers. When we get people that just have absolutely no idea, even if they have money, we say, hey, look, let's take a month, set up a site, make sure you're familiar with the technology first, and then let's come back and buy. We're in no rush. We have a lot of deals going through.
Exactly.
We don't need to take your money and give you a business that you can't run, because I think that would be
bad for everybody.
It's bad for everybody, exactly.
Yeah. So that's a huge one, is platform familiarity, really.
Yeah.
And whilst it is WordPress and Shopify are pretty simple, and FBA and all that sort of stuff, it's not going to take people too long to really wrap their head around it. And I mean, you could spend like you say, a month, a couple of weeks, whatever it is, and it's free. It's a pretty cool way to go. So what other sort of tips do you think would be important for first-time buyers? Say they've set up the site, anything within due diligence, or what they should be looking out for, really?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Empire Flippers is there's no outright scams. We don't have that problem because we do a lot on the vetting angle of filtering that out before you even see it. But yeah, I mean, making sure that you know who you're doing business with, I think is important. We do some basic checks on the seller to make sure they are who they say they are. But if you're buying from another place, I would absolutely make sure that the seller is who he says he is by getting some identification, that kind of thing, before you get to the later stages, so that this way, you're dealing with a real person. Another thing would be definitely if you're working with a broker, getting the right sort of testimonials. Any good broker worth his salt is going to have those. So go ahead and take a look at that. Make sure that they've worked with other people before and that they have a high bar for success. We can provide a great list of buyers that bought from us repeatedly that you could call. Not only, we have a nice video for you to watch, but you could actually contact these people and find out more information. So I think that's pretty important as well, rather than just having some sort of testimonial on the website where you don't really know who they are. It's John Smith. Okay, well, who is that, and can I contact that person? So doing a little due diligence on the broker as well, it would be helpful from a starter point of view.
Yeah, that's really cool. And there's some things that I teach as well, is proof the person actually exists. And you can do that for everybody listening. You can do that by jumping on Facebook, jumping on LinkedIn, checking out their name, going into whois.net sort of thing, looking at and finding different tools. There's so many different tools out to look at domain ownership, and sometimes it's hidden, but then you can even ask, hey, Joe, or, you're not an actual speaking to guys one-on-one, but you're like, hey, can I get proof of domain ownership, or that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. We provide that all that stuff up front. But I think it's important that you're right. I mean, if someone has an online business, they're going to have some information about them online. If they don't have anything, they don't have a Facebook page, they don't have LinkedIn, They don't have Twitter. They have nothing about them online. I don't know. That would be a red flag for me. It's very, very rare that we see that. Sometimes in the affiliate space, we will see guys that are like a ghost online because they don't want anyone copying them or coming after them, kind of thing. But it's extremely rare nowadays.
Everybody's online. Everybody's got a profile or something somewhere. Yeah. And then also checking out the the reviews of different brokers is a huge one. That's not the stuff that I've really talked about, but you can go away and there's heaps of YouTube videos of like, I achieved this, or this failed on this platform, that I bought this, and it gives you a better knowledge base on how that sort of broker has been operating.
Yeah, I mean, every broker is going to have their successes and failures.
Exactly.
No one's going to be 100%. And any broker who says I am 100%, I would ditch that guy in a second. But if you look at the sort of reviews and things that we have about Empire Flippers online, I think you'll see the vast majority is positive and really good stuff going on. So I encourage you to do a lot of research on your broker and make sure you know who you're dealing with.